Hey everyone, welcome to the drive home. I'm Kristen.
I'm Megan.
And we are driving home from the film we just saw a screening of, which is Seeking a Friend at the End of the World with Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. So we're all kind of walking. We also with my friend
a little shell-shocked.
Obviously it's a thinker, and we have two great actors at the helm of it, and a couple other, guest actors who are just great and add to it as well. It's a little heart-wrenching.
I think a little heart-wrenching is an understatement. We're just walking away from that. I don't quite know what to say yet. Overall, what do you think?
I quite liked it. I don't know if it'll, it's not a feel-good movie by any... there's moments of feel-good and all of that, but it's definitely a thinker. It's short. It's only about 90 some odd minutes.
Really? It was only an hour and a half? It felt a little, well, maybe towards the end it was feeling a little longer. Not to say that it dragged or anything like that, but like she said, it's definitely a thinker. You start asking yourself some tough questions during the movie. Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about, there's an asteroid going to hit the Earth in, about a month.
It's basically Armageddon, like the movie Armageddon, only if Bruce Willis was not able to split the asteroid in half.
Yeah,
this is what would have happened.
They say in the beginning they tried to do something like that and it didn't work, so you literally have just a couple of weeks left to live, and it's kind of fun to see in terms of what people do. Yeah, like which makes sense. It's always funny to me with stuff like that people go on riots, because it's like, well, what's the point? And that's what I always think when I was watching, because it does, some people, they throw end of the world parties, and it's kind of like, who cares? Just do whatever you want, sleep with whoever you want, do drugs, So there's like a wild party that Steve Carell goes to, end of the world, and you kind of go off and you go with the people that made the biggest impression on you, or you fall apart.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, to see exactly what different people choose to do. And that's where a lot of the humor comes out, and that's where a lot of the emotion and tragedy and
right at the beginning you see, and it's not giving away spoilers, there's flyers for an assassin that could kill you before the asteroid does, and that becomes an option potentially for some people, and it's a little crazy like that. Well, at the very begining, Steve Carell's character gets left by his wife, who I believe was actually played by his real life wife in real life. That's what I was going for, which was funny because she always makes cameos and little things they met on second. Sorry,
oh no, it's fine. And so they're sitting in the car and they hear about the failed mission attempt to try to stop the asteroid, and they're just sitting there completely shell-shocked. He's like, I think we missed the exit. And she just gets out of the car and literally runs away. So that is, that's very telling, about, where his character relationship and their marriage and everything like that.
Well,
and so
it's funny, he goes to work. Everybody's gone, he's an insurance guy, and he goes back to work. It's a very Steve Carell role, which I love him in everything. I mean,
he's very, very charming in just about everything he's in. And he brings a certain warmth to a lot of his roles, when maybe played by other people they wouldn't have that sense of endearment. So he definitely brings something special to every role he plays.
And Keira Knightley is kind of the free spirit that lives downstairs, and the endearing hot mess, if you will.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, because she's young and still crazy and trying to figure out her life, but ends up just being with the wrong guy, and she's miles and miles away from her family. And so their little pilgrimage, I suppose, because I think they say it in the trailer. But basically their pilgrimage is Steve Carell is trying to find his way back to the one that got away.
And then she wants to get home because she missed all the flights. And he knows somebody with a plane.
And
so they're helping each other out and get to both of these places.
Yeah, she wants to go back to her family, and he's trying to find the love of his life. So, yeah, that's the setup. And again, two completely different types of people. And so there's a lot of comedy there. And, you know, I think they actually had really good chemistry together.
I think so, too. It kind of, you know, you're never sure because you do put two people together. Like Keira Knightley with Steve Carell, I mean...
Does that work? And
I think it did.
It worked really well, and they both performed their roles very, very well. Yeah, there were parts where Keira Knightley, had me really choked up.
Yeah.
Just with some of the way she was telling her stories and, you know, delivering her lines and everything like that. And that really surprised me. I wasn't expecting this movie to be... I was expecting it to have some dark humor in it. I wasn't expecting it to reach this sort of level of emotional depth, though. I thought it was going to be a quirky, dark comedy. And it had that a little bit. You know, it was quirky and it was funny. But, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to hit me as hard as it did.
And with every movie, too, a dog always adds to it. He, again, at the very beginning, he falls asleep in a park, and there's a little note on him that says, sorry, and there's just the cutest dog sitting there looking at him, like, take care of me. That made me really sad. Like, well, who would ditch their dog at the end of the world?
And it's so sad, like, they call the dog sorry for the rest of the movie. Come here, sorry.
Yeah.
The dog's name.
Know from it. They're just giving it whatever it wants to eat. It's like, oh, what the heck? We're all gonna die anyways.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's kind of fun too. Also, just to hear people talk about what they're gonna do. We don't necessarily get to see everybody because we're focusing obviously on Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. But at the beginning, you know, he dodges with some of his friends at a party, and they talk about what they're going to do, how they plan on spending their last days. You know, most people, visiting family. Some people just eating.
Although I don't blame, you know, the person who said that. I might definitely just eat what I want for at least one day and just be like, I don't care. What am I going to do?
Oh my goodness. So many good things. But yeah, I thought this was a very interesting take, you know, because you have so many movies like the Armageddons out there, like, you know, about how the world is saved. And there are very, very few movies out there. I know there are some, but there are very, very few movies out there where you know, the mission team does fail, and we just focus on the everyday person in this sort of disaster.
The only other movie that recently came out like that, which was weird, and my best friend will never let me pick out movies again after this one, was Melancholia, which had, you know, the world was going to end, and that was weird. That didn't have, I don't feel, the heart that this did. And that one was a bit long. I think that was about 2.5 hours, or it felt that long anyways. But this one is shorter, again, so I think it was a good length for that kind of a heavy subject, too.
Yeah, you can't necessarily keep people in a theater for too long when you have this sort of subject matter, but you're absolutely right. This one had a lot of heart, and I think that's what really made it work.
And I think I mentioned earlier, I like the two main actors so much. I gotta wonder if it would have had the same amount of heart if it was two different actors. And I don't necessarily think it does, because I think Steve Carell brings that to every role, and Keira Knightley's very good in everything. She's very charming in every role that she does as well.
Yeah,
but Steve Carell just always plays that kind of average Joe who you're rooting for a bit.
The underdog,
most of the time. I mean, sometimes, you know, Little Miss Sunshine's a little bit different to an extent and all that,
but yeah, you're almost every role, he's definitely somebody that you're rooting for. And again, I was so surprised with how well they work together. You know, that's
very good chemistry.
You're right. It's not the sort of combination that you typically expect, but it worked. And they were fantastic together.
And I thought some of it definitely surprised me. I mean, I was expecting... there was one, you know, person that we meet later on that I actually kind of expected to happen what happened to an extent. But I think there were a couple of other surprises that... And there's some great scenes. There's, again, some great cameos from people from other TV shows and that you kind of see, but they're not there for very long.
Definitely some great cameos. Some of the best comedy in the movie definitely comes from the cameos, and those are a lot of fun. And I also just like movies like this too. Not necessarily in this type of setting, but I like movies where the whole point is to get from point A to point B, and you have to take a journey together. I really like those types of movies, and this does that very, very well. Especially, again, with our two main leads who are just, a joy to watch on screen.
Well, since we are almost home, final thoughts.
Final thoughts? This is even though there are moments of levity and there's a lot of humor in it, this is a harder one to get through. This is a very emotional time. If you're looking for a movie to turn your brain off on, this is not that one. This is going to be you're going to be asking yourself some tough questions when you're leaving the theater. But if you're looking for a movie with a lot of heart, and if you're looking for just a good story and really good performances, this is definitely not one to miss.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a very good film. I don't know if it's going to be everybody's cup of tea because it is such a serious matter and all of that, but it was really good. Not a feel-good movie by any stretch of the... turn around. Sorry, I'm driving. By any stretch of the imagination, but again, really good performances, and I highly recommend it. I really liked it. I'm glad we went to go see it, and just...
Me too, I agree.
But definitely, like you said, a thinker. It'll have you sitting there being like, gosh, if the world did end tomorrow, what do I do? So, well, that's it for the drive home. Short review for a shorter film, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.